One morning on the island of Sodor, Norman, Paxton, and Sydney were in the yards of Knapford Station organizing their trucks for the day.
Have you guys ever sprung an oil leak in the middle of pulling a train, and you just have to hope no one notices?
Why would you say something like that?
Do you guys hear that?
Hear what, Sydney?
It's almost like a bird.
A bird?
The loud whistling of an engine became very evident when Neville came racing into the yards. He crashed into Norman and they both lay wearily on the ground.
Are you two okay?
I think so. What about you, Neville?
I'm okay. My brakes weren't working and they wanted to send me into a line I would do the least amount of damage. Sorry you got in the way of that, Norman.
Not your fault. I don't think the signalman could see me. Not sure what I'm going to do about my work today.
I can step in for you today, Norman.
Oh, I can too.
I don't know. Are you sure you two are up for it?
I'm sure we can handle... What exactly do you do?
Well... Paxton and Sydney arrived at Crovan's Gate Station still quite confused after Norman's poor explanation.
Alright, so we have to...
Don't look at me. You're the memory guy. I'm the everything else guy.
He said we have to marshal trucks for goods trains. Let's just get on that and see what comes up.
So that's what the engines did. Now, Sydney didn't do it very often, but he was a very good shunter. His trucks were organized very neatly. Paxton, on the other hand, became overwhelmed. The patterns for shunting trucks confused him, and he made many mistakes. Soon an alarm was raised at the station and a workman walked out. Stanley has derailed along the Great Waterton branch. We need to send an engine to retrieve him. Despite his good work with the trucks at Crovan's Gate, Sydney was used to being told his work was incorrect due to his memory problems, and he was worried that his work wasn't sufficient at the yard.
I'll go rescue Stepney.
It's Stanley, Sydney.
Stanley.
And with that, Sydney was headed over to Great Waterton. Soon he discovered Stanley in a pile of bushes on the side of the line.
Hey, buddy, I'm here to help.
About time!
Sydney brought the breakdown crane right up to Stanley and lifted him back onto the rails. Stanley was unable to move under his own power, so he was coupled to the end of Sydney's cavalcade and they left to return for the steamworks. On the way back, however, Sydney passed through Crovan's Gate Station and saw a struggling Paxton in the yards.
Oh my, let me help you.
Sydney had forgotten all about Stanley and shunted the breakdown train and Stanley into a shed, and Paxton was too preoccupied with the trucks to notice. Sydney went over to Paxton.
What is this train for?
A mixed tanker train. All of the tankers on the island are getting cleaned out, and Douglas is going to be here to pick up the ones here any minute.
Sydney got to work. Paxton was surprised with how quick he was with it. However, the alarm was soon raised again. Sydney went to respond, but Paxton stopped him.
I'll go. You finish here. You're doing great.
So that's what Sydney did. Paxton went over to the breakdown train and took it out of its shed to reveal Stanley.
Hello?
Sorry, Stanley. It's an emergency. I'll come back for you.
Oh, come on!
Paxton pushed Stanley back into the shed and hurried off, with the crew of the breakdown train guiding him to the accident. Soon Paxton found Thomas a few miles east of Crovan's Gate Station. His wheels were bent, and he didn't have the soft landing that Stanley did.
Don't worry, Thomas. I'll get you to the steamworks.
Meanwhile, back at Crovan's Gate, Sydney was shunting with such ease that he had Douglas's train prepared for him before he even arrived, and had the whole yard sorted in record time. Paxton soon returned. He was very impressed.
Nice going, Sydney. Now, we probably won't need to spend more than a minute shunting the rest of the day.
Paxton shunted the breakdown train into its shed. He rolled alongside Sydney, and the two were very happy with themselves being able to cope with their new environment and being able to get Norman's work done. Soon Sir Topham had arrived at the station after learning of the switch.
Excellent work here, you two. I'll admit I had my doubts when I learned you were doing Norman's work here, but I see you have done very well filling in for him while he is on his sabbatical. It has been a while since I've seen the yard, so...
Help!
Oh, we forgot to move Stanley.
Yeah, I'll go get the thing.
Really useful engines indeed.